that Hillary Clinton, she'll say anything to get elected. Do not trust Hillary.
Tim Black. Tim Black.
Make sure we're all
Tim
good.
Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night Show. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're feeling good. Hope everything's all right. Oh man, it's Friday, man. I forgot it was Friday. Oh man, happy Friday to you. Give it up for Friday. That's right. It's a good time, you know. Get your time to yourself. I know you're looking forward to it. You know, you can get out in that heat. Because believe me, here in D.C., Maryland, it's hot as hell. So I don't know where you are. Because I guess you could be somewhere, you know, that's not so hot. But look, congratulations to your weekend. Glad you're here. Glad you decided to join me. I just say hello and what's up to my friends on Periscope. Periscope, homies. Oh, man. Periscope, my friends on Periscope. How y'all doing? Doing all right? That's good. That's good. You know, I'm new on Periscope, so I see stuff going on. I heard my friend Hard Bastard got banned from Periscope, or he got like a timeout. And he said it had nothing to do with copyright. It had something to do with like this and like what he was talking about. So we'll see how long I stay active. We'll see before they come get me. That's how they got to do. They come get you at some point. So give it up for Periscope people being in the house. All right. Next group of people I want to thank are my people out there in Facebook world. Give it up for my Facebook people. That's right. Facebook people are special people. They know Facebook is evil, but they brave the evil every day. They know Facebook has broken up relationship after relationship after relationship, but they just keep going back, man. They know it's a lot of vile people on Facebook. They say, you know what? I'm going to tough it out because even though it's evil, it's so familiar. Give it up for Facebook people. Giving it up, giving it up, giving it up. A special breed. My last group of people that I got to shout out are the people that are on a platform that's been very dear to my heart. The ups and downs, the turnarounds, the winding roads of hypocrisy. Yes, they call it the white Twitter. YouTube people, give it up for white YouTube. Give it up for YouTube. White Twitter, white Twitter. Someone said too, YouTube is like white Twitter. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, black people use Twitter. I'm like, really? I don't know these things. I use everything. I just never got into Vine, and I'm still having problems with Instagram because I just don't take that many pictures. I used to do videos. It's like, it gets hard. Look, man, look, I know Gary Vaynerchuk tells you to be everywhere. Gary's like, be everywhere. No, you can't be everywhere, right? If you actually doing your own stuff, you can't be everywhere. You know, he's got like Gary Vaynerchuk, bless his heart, man, he's a cool guy, right? He started following me like a year ago, you know what I mean? And, you know, so I was like, what? Gary V follows me because he don't follow a lot of people. But, yeah, like he means, like, I know he's a good businessman and stuff. He got great advice, right? But people don't realize Gary V has staff. That's staff of people, right? I don't have a staff of people. This is me. Like, he's like, Bill, you got to post every day and put out 10 pieces of content every day. I'm like, Gary V has people put that stuff out for him. He don't put that stuff out. You understand? I'm walking up here. I got, you know, crust in my eyes. I'm tired. I'm getting 2 hours sleep. Because I'm trying to be like Gary V. Don't be like you. I don't know where that stream of consciousness came from. I don't know where it came from. Has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about tonight. I just figured, you know what? It's true. I'm going to say it. Right? Yeah, but you got to work your ass off, though. Speaking of working one's ass off, I heard Bill Clinton's talking about the campaign. Yeah, Billy Bob, Bubba talking about the campaign, talking about what happened. You know, and why shouldn't Bill Clinton talk about it? At least he's been a president. You know, that's what they do. They come back, they talk smack. You know? Well, you know, Hillary had a good thing. She could have won. But that orange fella, he got in the way. He got in the way. That some bitch, he got out there and got in front of Hillary. He made Hillary lose. Yeah, he damn right he made her lose. But actually, I don't think Hillary, I believe this. I don't believe that Hillary Clinton was beaten by Donald Trump. I believe she was beaten by Hillary Clinton. And I foresaw this happening way before the primaries ended. I was like, look, Hillary's going to lose to Trump. You guys are electing Trump. And they're like, no, you're electing Trump. Like, no, if you pick Hillary, she's going to lose to Trump. I'm trying to tell you, she'll lose to anybody on the Republican side. She's going to lose. Do you understand? So anyway, Bill Clinton's making these comments. You know, he's got a lot to say. But, you know, hey, you know, what is he going to do? He's got to stick up for his partner, his business partner. Because that's what they are, they're business partners. Got to hold it down for the business partner in his life. You know, make sure the balance sheet is correct. And come on, man, there ain't been love in that relationship since the Love Boat. Since Golden Girls was on. Since, I don't know, since Smokey and the Bandit first came out. I mean, there hasn't been love in the Clinton household between them two. Gosh, I don't know, since Chelsea was born. I don't know, man. What if we found out that Chelsea Clinton was just a way for Hillary to keep Bill? Try to slow him down. Women do that sometimes. You're like, I got to slow this guy down. Maybe I should pass life through my body and make him slow down. Because he's everywhere, man. I got to slow his ass down. That didn't slow Bill down. Oh, no, Hillary, I'm gonna sit here. I'm going to help raise our daughter, but I'm going to chase some ass, though, Hillary. Oh, man, I gotta do what I got to do. You're only young once. You're only young for 70 years. I can only sleep with other women for 70 years. Only 70. I'm going to live at least be 80. God. Oh, man, the man is on fire tonight. He's harsh. He's harsh. He's hitting below the belt. Bam! Hitting below the belt. Bam! So much going on. So much going on. So much happening. So much happening. I need to get this paperwork off the printer. You guys going to bear with me while I get the paperwork off the printer? Hold tight, y'all.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
See how smooth that was? See how I do that? Come on now, you know how you white guys do it. You do it like this. I'll be right back.
Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
Yeah. Give it up for that. I remember a time, you know what? I remember a time, and I'm sure a lot of you do too, when that was all you had to do to be a successful comedian, is say, black people do this, but white people do that. Man, black people do this, but white people do that. And you would just make money. Then Dave Chappelle came along and broke it. That's why, like, a lot of comedians do not like Dave Chappelle. They had to start writing jokes. Like real jokes. You know? You know, when Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock really hit, they ruined it for all black comedians, because then they had to start writing stuff that was like, you know, could affect anyone. Like, you could still use race, but, you know, they couldn't just say white guys do this, black guys do this. Now the white guy eat spaghetti and the black guy eat spaghetti. And like, you just twirl it on the fork like this. They twirl it and twirl it and twirl it and they put the whole thing, and black people just be like this. And it would be funny and people would laugh. I remember it. But those days are gone. You got to write jokes, damn it. Write a joke. Lazy bastard, write jokes. You know what's not a joke? People using acid as a weapon. I mean, I'm serious. People are using acid as weapons. Listen. A horrific wave of acid attacks have overtaken London, leaving victims gruesomely disfigured and suffering life-altering injuries amid a growing trend that's seen the corrosive liquid become the weapon of choice for British attackers. So this is something you're not going to hear talked about a lot. Right? You hear, oh, they don't have guns. They don't use guns. You're like, America has too many guns. Well, look, if I get to choose between somebody shooting me in the ass and somebody throwing acid on me, I think I'm going to take the bullet in the ass, y'all. Give it up for that. I'm just saying. Two teenagers, 15 and 16, were arrested Friday following an overnight swath of attacks in which men on mopeds injured several people by tossing a noxious substance in their faces. Oh, man. Oh, man. What kind of punishment do you give people for throwing acid in someone's face? I don't think there's a punishment enough. Butt raped by 20 football players? With soccer players? Football in, Europe is soccer. No, that may not be, because this all depends. All depends. That may not even be a punishment. So what kind of punishment could it be for two teens? They're like, hold up. They don't know if these were boys or what. It doesn't matter what sex they are. Doesn't matter. It's non-gender specific, Tim. What kind of punishment, guys, is good enough for someone who throws acid in the face of strangers? I don't know what it could be. I need to think. I need to pull out my Wu-Tang record and play that scene where they talk about torture. Torture, torture, torture. At least one victim, a man in his 20s, was left with life-changing injuries. Similar high-profile attacks have been plaguing the British city in the recent months. In one or so, the 25-year-old man is accused of throwing acid at an aspiring model and her cousin as they sat in their car. Man, this is some cowardly shit. Cowardly. Throwing acid on people. This is what's going on in the streets of London. This is what's happening. This is it. London Police Chief Cressida Dick said officers were concerned by the increase in the completely barbaric attacks. We will arrest people. We will enforce the law as we can, and we are working very closely with the government to try to see if there's any change in the law required. The spike in attacks has prompted some lawmakers to call for restrictions on the sale and carrying of corrosive liquids, such as sulfuric acid. All right, this is horrific beyond belief. This, my friends, is some horrible, horrible shit going on in London. I'll tell you this. They need to come up with a new law, right? A new way of torturing people. Because this is something, you got to come up with something. It's something better. You can't just send people to jail. You got to do like Kim Jong-un. He sends North Koreans to slave labor to other countries in order to make money for his country. That's what he's doing now. Google it. I'm not making it up. Kim Jong-un is outsourcing slaves to other countries. But you got to come up with something. But Don, don't send me your acid throwing slave to America. Don't do that. But I wonder what London blames this on, because in America, whenever we have people that do acts like this, we got to blame something. So what are they blaming in London? Are they blaming their bad rappers? And I'm sorry, man, there's some bad rappers in London. This is horrible. It's the accent. I don't know. I don't know how you punish these guys for this, but I'm sure, like I said, they're looking for a way to blame someone for it, other than the people who did it. Because you got to do that, It's the hip-hop, it's the Hollywood, it's the video games. Like, I don't know a video game that people throw acid in each other's face. And even if there was a video game that did that, I don't think you can blame the game for somebody being that stupid or being that barbaric, inhumane. Gosh. All I can say is London has problems. Yeah, London is falling. And it can't get up. I don't even know what to say about that, y'all. Give that some booze. Let's get some booze for that shit. Goodness gracious, man. Woo, it's horrific. All right. Since you're already so chipper, since I got everybody happy, everybody smiling, bunch of smiling going around. A mom of a murdered toddler sentenced to probation. A mom of a murdered toddler sentenced to probation. But she didn't mean it. She didn't mean to murder the baby. She's a really nice person. She comes from a good family. No one says that about Pookie. Ain't that right, Charlie? Charlie Peach? No one says that about Pookie. No one says he was really a good guy. You go lock his ass up. He came from a good family. So, he's never been in trouble. You in trouble now. Let's hear the story of how this lady got off with it. Bond was in jail waiting her trial when she agreed to testify against McCarthy. Okay. Well, maybe I'm missing something here. Am I missing something here? Okay. Prosecutor agreements not in there. Okay. We didn't enter into the agreements. We could not prosecute Michael McCarthy, and we would not have been able to hold him accountable without the trustworthy testimony of Rachel Bond. Okay, so Rachel Bond, oh, I get it. So there's two. It's the man and the woman flips on the dad or the man, and that's why. Okay, so there's more to it. Like, okay, so this is it. Michael McCarthy. We could not prosecute Michael McCarthy. We would not have been able to hold him accountable without the truthful testimony of Rachel Bond. But they don't have the same last name, so they apparently aren't married, though they could be, but I doubt it. And Bond served nearly 2 years in jail and will enter a rehabilitation facility for substance abuse upon her release from South Bay Correctional Center in Boston on Friday, says her attorney, Janice Bassau. She's scared about her future. She has a future without her child, and regardless of what people think of her involvement or not, she grieves the loss of that child every single day. Bond's sentencing caps a saga that began in June 2015 when a jogger found an unidentified girl's partially decomposed body in a trash bag along Deer Island near Boston. Authorities launched an extensive effort to identify the girl known as Baby Doe and commissioned an artist to draw a composite image of her that was widely shared. The case broke open in September 2015 after Rachel Bond admitted to a friend that her daughter Bella was dead and that the girl had not been taken away from the Department of Child and Families as she had told others, including the child's father. The friend recognized Baby Doe as Bella Bond and notified police. The tip led to the arrest of McCarthy and Bond. Prosecutors relied heavily on Bond's testimony during McCarthy's trial. They claimed that McCarthy had called Bella a demon, killed her, and dumped a trash bag with the child's body into the water near Deer Island. So what we got is a bunch of meth heads and maybe devil worshippers or something going on. And see, here's the thing. You got to be involved in your child's life, man, because you don't know, like, so this is not the father of the child had anything to do with this. And the mother and her boyfriend apparently just do a lot of drugs and start seeing and hearing things. Now, if you're in your right state of mind, seeing and hearing things may be kind of cool. Ooh, listen to what I'm hearing, man. Is that the Roots? I like the Roots. Ain't no music on. Shut up, man. I hear it. Don't you hear it, man? Don't you hear it, Hillary? That's the Roots. I hear it just like it's right here. It's so cool. It's like they're playing right there. All the guys on the things. Yeah. Come here, Hilly. But what's not cool is when you have like demons in your head, like you got problems and you don't hear that type of music. You hear ooh, 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 When you hear that, that's when the drugs are not so good. So evidently they were hearing a bunch of that, and they assumed it's something to do with the baby. When the baby cried, it made that instead of just taking the baby to, like, you know, take it to the police house or something, the fire station, and driving away or something. They decided to do this. I think I don't know why she got off, but come on. I don't know. I don't think she should have. But man, you gotta admit, guys, you gotta admit, some people can look innocent when they're guilty. They could cry and stuff. Don't work for, you know, big guys like me. Don't work that well. You got to be more petite. Big guy crying just looks sad, just silly. People just, they don't even feel sorry for me when I start crying. They just look at me like, yes, this big bastard crying about. It's too big to cry. You know, so like some people get sympathy, some people don't. The darker you are, the less sympathy you get. The bigger you are, less sympathy you get too. Big people get it bad. Nobody listens to Arnold Schwarzenegger cry. Everybody get to the chopper. Shut up, Arnold. Stop crying. I couldn't get to the chopper. So this is a horrible story, guys, and I think the jury was swayed by her crying, her having blonde hair, crying, and them really hating the boyfriend. Really hating him probably helped a lot too. But you know, when the two people do something or something like that, like somebody gonna take the fall, and all it takes is the one that has more sympathy to say, hey, I didn't know he was gonna do that. And you're over there like, you did know, you helped plan it. Like, I don't know nothing about it. And then somebody takes the fall. And I really don't feel sorry for either one of them. But the thing is, both of them should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But like I said, some people cry better than others. It's a skill. It's a learned skill. So I don't think we can clap to that story, but we can boo. 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 Horrible, horrible story, girl.
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
I ain't falling for no banana in the tailpipe, man. Let me make sure I hope you are everywhere where we say we're going to be. Yeah, it's green today. See, that thing was messed up yesterday. I don't know what was happening. The broken carpenter. The broken carpenter's in the house. All right. I got one more, guys. I got one more. You know what I mean? Can we do one more story? Come on, guys. Come on. Let's do one more story. Momo Pineno's been stepping it up on the video archives, guys. He's really killing it. He's much better video editor than me. I thought I was good. I get too busy. You know, you can put too many special effects in your videos. You know, just a little, you know? Like, you know, a great chef, you know, people know how to cook because they don't use a bunch of seasonings. They like salt and pepper. That's all you putting in it? Salt and pepper. People who want to make stuff taste good overdo the shit. Give me some cayenne, some mustard seeds, some Lorry seasoned salt. Give me some celery salt. Give me some paprika because it sounds good. Paprika. Give me some, I don't know, some curry. I don't know. Give me everything and just throw everything in and nothing stands out because everything's there screaming. So that's sort of like how I do my videos, a lot of them. And Momo Pineno, he has the ability to know better. He just puts salt and pepper. So thank you, Momo Pineno, for that, guys. If you're interested in supporting this channel that you're watching right now, that'd be great. Go to Tim's Take Live on Patreon or buy some gear like this shirt. And I love this. Team Black, I love this. This is my first design. And look, I came up with it myself. People wouldn't buy it, though. They said it was, you know, they said it was divisive. It is Team Black. What's wrong? Tim can't wear it. I remember my friend Tim Bingen was like one of the first people who's on Facebook. One of the first people I know who bought this shirt. He, you know, Tim Bingen, like, you know, he wore it, took a picture of it, had his little hat on and stuff. He looked cool, man. I love Tim. Tim didn't care. He didn't care if people thought he was part of the you know, Black Pride thing. He didn't care. You know, but other people are like, I don't want people to think that I'm, you know, I don't want cops. It's like, they're like, Tim, that shirt is like, I don't know. It's like an attractant for ass whoopings from cops. You might be wearing a F the police shirt. It's like, no, man. If I really wanted you to get your ass kicked wearing one of my shirts, it would be Team White. It did tell you to go to a black section of town. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. White, you ain't gonna get lynched. Come on, man, get a Team Black shirt just for the hell of it. It's like that's me, Tim Black. Show name Tim Black, channel Tim Black, Team Black. I didn't think Team Tim was catchy. You know, Team Tim. It just sound corny. All right, I got one more, guys. All right, one more. Let's do this. 2 men charged in the homicide of missing Pennsylvania men. When I heard this story the last couple of days, and I first heard it like a couple of days ago, I was going to do this story. It's so freaking sad, man. Oh, sad. Yeah, but I'm gonna try to power through it because at least now we know what's up. Okay, so we have some information there. Okay, so remember, there were 4 men that were missing in Pennsylvania. They were all kind of related to each other. 2 were friends. The other was an acquaintance. The other one, I think they knew on Facebook. Well, the 4 men were discovered buried deep underground on a sprawling property owned by DiNardo's parents in Salisbury Township, according to a statement from the district attorney's office. Now, they had this guy in custody who owned this property or who lived on this property. And I knew when they arrested him and they gave him a $1 million bond that he must have had something to do with the missing men who were on that property. And we kind of knew they were on that property because they had 2 vehicles that were on that property and they had another vehicle that wasn't far away. So all these things led me to believe that it was possibly he killed these people and put them on his property. Also the fact that when I saw the clip initially, before they even discovered the body, they had a backhoe or something to dig with. You don't dig. Anytime people are looking for you or looking for people and they have something to dig into the ground with, don't expect to find you alive. So it's really a sad, horrific thing. DiNardo, who was arrested for theft on Wednesday, confessed to the involvement in the murders the next day. His attorney, Paul Lang, said in exchange for that confession, prosecutors agreed not to seek the death penalty against him. Bucks County District Attorney Matthew Wintrop said that if he had made the deal, we'd still be looking for Jimmy Patrick's body, which was buried about half of the mile away from the other grave. I can't predict the future, but this is what I believe. I don't know what convinced him to confess. I'd like to think he wanted to help us get those boys home. The families of the victims agreed to take the death penalty off the table in exchange for his confession, according to Bucks County Assistant District Attorney Greg Shore. DiNardo and Kratz are cousins of criminal complaint states. Mio and Sturgis were friends, but the 4 victims were only connected insofar as they agreed to meet DiNardo to buy marijuana. Oh, man. You just ruined weed. This guy, he not only killed these men, he ruined weed. He used the lure of marijuana to kill these guys. Son of a bitch. Hey, baby, tell him we're not going to come pick up the weed. We good. I just drink some rum and coke instead. Jesus. Know your supplier. Okay, in his confession, all right, Wintrop said he believed DiNardo and Kratz were the only ones involved in the killings, but said more information could change that position. In his confession, DiNardo detailed a series of shocking killings with no clear motive. Kratz spoke to investigators on Thursday night. On July 5th, DiNardo agreed to sell Patrick 4 pounds of marijuana for $8,000, and DiNardo drove and picked Patrick up and brought him back to the sprawling property. When he arrived, Patrick said he only had $800, and DiNardo agreed to sell him a shotgun for that amount. DiNardo then took him to a remote part of the property, gave him a shotgun, then shot and killed him with a .22 caliber rifle. DiNardo allegedly used a backhoe to dig a 6-foot deep hole and bury him. On July 7th, DiNardo agreed to sell a quarter pound of marijuana to Finicciaro. DiNardo picked up Kratz, his cousin, and 2 drove to Finicciaro's house and planned to rob him. Jesus. The 3 of them drove back to DiNardo's large property. There, Kratz shot Pianaggio in the head with a handgun that belonged to DiNardo's mother. However, Kratz told the police that DiNardo was one who shot Finicciaro. Finacharo. Then they placed him in a metal tank that Leonardo referred to as the Big Broster. This is sick, man. Do you really want to sit through the rest of this? We could do something else, man. We could sing songs or something. Harmonica Man could start playing something. All right, let's push through. Let's get through this. Let's get through. Afterward, Leonardo agreed to sell marijuana to Thomas Miho that same night, and he picked up Miho and his friend, Mark Sturgis, and drove them back to his property. Leonardo told police that when they entered and exited the property, he shot Miho in the back, who fell to the ground screaming. Sturgis started to run away, and Leonardo shot Sturgis, killing him. Leonardo then drove the backhoe over Miho and basically crushed him. This happened. According to the complaint, Leonardo allegedly used the backhoe to lift their bodies up and put them in a metal tank with Finacharo's body. Leonardo allegedly poured gasoline into the tank and lit it. There was an attempt to burn the bodies, to deface them, to obliterate them, but I don't believe that was successful. Leonardo and Kratz returned to the property the next afternoon and used the backhoe to dig a hole and bury Finacharo. Leonardo's parents own a construction and cement company called Cosan LLC that will go bankrupt in 2 minutes. An attorney for the family, Fernando Perry Jr., said in a statement that they were not connected to the alleged murders. Cosmo Leonardo was first arrested on Monday for an unrelated firearms charge that dates to February. He allegedly possessed a 20-gauge shotgun, but was not illegally allowed to possess the firearm because he had a mental illness and had been involuntarily committed to a mental institution for inpatient care. The original charge was dismissed by a judge in May, and the Bucks County District Attorney's Office authorized police to reinstate and refiled the charge on June 21st, but he was not arrested again or charged until July 10th, days after the men went missing. All right. Leonardo was released on bail on Tuesday when his father paid 10% of the $10 million bail in cash. So he bailed out. He was arrested again on Wednesday for allegedly stealing, attempting to sell Miho's vehicle the day after Miho was reported missing. Leonardo's bail was set at $5 million after the district attorney argued that he was a flight risk. Kratz, too, has served several criminal arrests. Most recently, he was charged in February for burglary, conspiracy, criminal trespassing, theft, receiving stolen property, and criminal mischief, according to court documents. He was out on bail at the time of the murders. Patrick attended Loyola University of Maryland on a full scholarship and was majoring in business. Finacharo, 19, is from Middletown Township in Bucks County. Miho, 21, and Sturgis, 22, were friends and co-workers. All senseless. All of it. All of it just senseless, didn't need to happen for little bits of money or less. These are just psychopaths. Just fucking psychopaths. We potentially shop next to psychopaths every day. That's why you got to watch who you talk to and watch what you say to people. They start doing this, getting there. Oh, you don't want to get me mad. They start doing that, you got to be concerned. All right? Well, you seem such a nice guy. No, he's crazy. Oh, Tim, don't use the word crazy. What do you want me to call him? He's nuts. He's a psychopath. He's a killer. Run. Run from him. Get from him. This right here, I already know, you already know this is a movie, this is a book, this is a mini-series. These guys thought they were going to get high, and they got killed. This is Jeffrey Dahmer-esque, what he did here. He lured them with something. Weed. I don't even know if he lured all these guys with weed. No weed is worth your life. Guy look creepy, smell creepy. Look like he off medication. Leave him alone, guys. Buy from your overpriced friends. I don't know. This happens to people too when they go on Craigslist. Like people are nuts, man. Nuts. So, to the families of those victims and their friends. I don't know what to say other than we got him. But I know that's what is that? What is that? Young people killed for no reason, man. This is ridiculous. This is the world you live in. You do realize this. That's why you got to hug your children, hold them close, and then check them for weapons. You do. You got to hug them, hold them, and pat them down in the process. I love you, baby. I love you too, baby. I know you, man. You got to go through this shit when they leave the room. Are you in my room? Yep, I'm in your room. And don't be scared to go through this stuff either. I'm in your room. Turn around, drop your pants, and open your butt cheeks. This is Dave Chappelle. I'm serious, though. I want privacy. I want you to leave. Or I can go through everything in this room. I'm just saying, guys, this bad things happen to people who are, it can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to anybody. Anyway, guys, you know tonight is Freedom Friday. Give it up for Freedom Friday. Come on. Come on. Freedom Friday. If you're not familiar with this show, Freedom Friday, write down this number, 319-527-6212. You call in, you get to have the mic. You have the mic. Call in, use the mic. Rock the mic. You talk about issues that you care about. Talk about what's going on. Talk about things that have happened this week that you want to expand upon. We got a lot of issues. You might not want to talk about this Grim Reaper crap. I don't know. But it's up to you what you want to talk about. The only thing, look, I have two rules now. One rule was no hate speech. The other rule is no promotions. How about no promotions? You come to this show, you call this show, or you come in this show to promote other shows, go to that show. So we're not going to promote other shows on this show. We wouldn't go to the, I don't know, the Steve Harvey show and talk about the, I don't know, what's that show, talk about Jimmy Kimmel's show? No. Which y'all got to work together. I'll shout out people I want to shout out. You don't do it. Let me do that. And I shout out people. So no promotions. I want to get my business going. Well, email tim@timblacktv.com. That's right. Go ahead. Email Tim at timblacktv.com. Maybe we can get you on the show. Okay? And you think, see, I've learned that I've been too nice in the past. Been too nice in the past. So now I have to change how I do business. Oh, Tim, we hate when you change. Me too. Life's a bitch. We all got to learn, live. We all got to muscle through, power through. So, yes, call up. You get 5 minutes to talk about whatever's on your mind. Any issues that you have or that you heard about that you think need some attention. That's what I love about it. 319-527-6212. I would like some callers from Periscope to call in. How about some Periscope people? Can we get some Periscope people to call up and...
Let's sprinkle some crack on them and get out of here.
Can you call up and sprinkle some facts on them? Can you do that? Can I get some people from, I don't know, Facebook to call up and make sure...
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
Make sure we ain't falling for no bananas in our tailpipes. We need that. That is necessary. It's necessary. It's a necessity. All right. I'm going to go ahead and open up phone lines now. Jesus. Tim, could you tell us one upbeat story? I don't know. Do I have any upbeat stories? It's like really in a negative place. I'm sure someone will call up with an upbeat story. Sorry, man. Sometimes life is hard. There's somebody challenging Paul Ryan. Hey, give it up for that. That's right. My man Jeff Miami, formerly Miami Gator, Jeff Miami, he hit me up. He DM'd me because the challenger to Paul Ryan wants to come on the show, so you know we got to work that out. Like that you just got to do that. Like if you don't do nothing else, you got to do that. That must happen. And also, I'm scheduling. I was talking to Peter Hager, my friend I met in Chicago. See how that works? I met Peter Hager, and I'm going to get Tim Canova back on the show because, you know, he's running against Debbie Wasserman show, so we got to do that, right? If you don't do nothing else, you got to have Tim Canova come back on the show and help him beat Debbie Wasserman Schultz. If you don't succeed the first time, you try again. That's right. So, yeah, so that you know, those are positives. And I'm going to go to the first call. I'm going to take calls in the order that they came in. This is going to be great, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Tim Black. Tim Black. My first phone call is a 509 number. Hey, 509, what's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Tim. Broke Carpenter calling from out Yakima.
My brother, what's going on, bro?
Man, I've read, I've tried keeping up a little bit on that PA story. It sickens me because these psychos are just, I don't know, man. We can't do nothing with it. Part of it is we live in an idiotic society. We walk around thinking that we got to be scared of everything,
Yeah.
And I think we got to stop being afraid of everything. That's why our government goes nuts whenever anything happens. Rather than have things be just mellow, they got to make everything a big freaking deal, I don't know, man. Like I live in Washington State. So I walk into a well-lit store and I have customer service like you ain't never seen. I mean, I got a guy called a bud tender, and these guys all know what the hell they're talking about. They sell me a package that is clearly marked and has been tested, and I have herb. I don't have to go to some, freaky deaky, shady freaking guy to go buy in a little bit of pot. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, that would, having seen how the system works here and having seen how it at least drops it helps to drop the opiate problem. People been weaning themselves off on pot. It helps with people like me that got pain issues. It helps with the idea of overfilling prisons and giving cops every reason in the book to stop everybody they see, especially anybody that is people of color, people that look like they might be holding, because they can get away with it,
Right.
Because, 5 times out of 10, they're going to be right. But they can't do that anymore. They got to do like real police work and catch people with, real drugs. And that might get hard, they got people that are like, selling heroin and meth, and they're worrying about busting some dude, selling pot. It's insane, especially when we sell alcohol legally, and so that the PA problem is a cultural problem. We're just a violent people, and I don't know if it's lead in our system or what the hell is our problem, but we got some major malfunctions just as a society. I mean, I'm willing to like get triggered and freak out on on people as much as the next guy, but it's only because society has made it that way, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If people weren't jumping out of their skin at everybody else, I wouldn't have to do it that way, but hell's bells, I don't know. I'm just glad to be up here in the Northwest where things are, they took the death penalty off the table.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of that death penalty, man. That it's who the hell knows who gets really, who's guilty, who isn't. They railroad people through, and so we're killing innocent people with experimental drugs in some of these weird ass states that really got, I don't know, they got some major malfunctions in places like Oklahoma. Anywhere where they're going to be shoved, if they're going to be shoving shit into people, why not shove, a bunch of heroin and fentanyl into them? Seems to be killing people on the streets left and right. So,
Jesus.
If they're going to get really down and dirty and go buying drugs on the black market just so they can kill people legally, and revenge ain't the way to go. We got to get this idea of revenge out of our mind and we got to get this idea of we're punishing people. We punishing people. Taking away your liberty is supposed to be punishment. Putting you in a box is supposed to be punishment enough. Making that box, as horrible as possible is not the way to sort of be. It should be humane. I mean, there's no reason for this. No reason for stacking 800 guys in a little room and then wondering why you got problems. So I can say this, Tim. I can see that there are ways that we can get around it, and I think that the right people in the right places will do it. It's just getting them right people in there and keeping out the people that want to work with the private prisons and everybody that's enforcing the system that's holding everybody down, or at least contributing to it. I mean, there's a zillion other things happening that are holding people down, but that one particularly perturbs me because it's safe, it's legal here, and, people ain't killing each other over it. So, anyhow, hey, brother, you have a good one. Always nice rapping with you.
All right. Hey, look, thank you, Brother Cop, and I appreciate you, brother. Yes, man. And look, I hadn't even thought about that side of it. Like, if the weed was legal, them kids never would have been there. They never would have been there. Horrible, man. Horrible. Yeah, I'm against the death penalty because of the way it is applied. I have to be. Because I can't support something where I know innocent people get killed. And poor people. Right? And if you had money, you wouldn't be on death row. You will never hear about a rich person getting a death penalty. Never. ODing, yeah. But not getting a death penalty. All right, 408. You're live. Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Tim. This is No More Donations. How you doing?
What's up, No More? What's going on, my brother?
No Mo calling in. Give a shout out to Momo, too. No Mo to Momo. Hey, I'm getting tired of all this Kremlin-linked language that we keep hearing on corporate mainstream media. We're even hearing it on independent media like Democracy Now! And, probably the Young Turks, too. I'm not sure because I don't even watch them anymore. But it's getting kind of tiring. What about CIA linked? You see all these people on corporate media all the time who used to be affiliated with government agencies like the CIA and other agencies. Nobody on U.S. corporate media thinks there's anything wrong with that. But I remember when I used to have cable, I would sit there and I would be shouting at my TV, like, what's wrong with all these people? Basically now I don't have cable. I basically shout using Twitter, but you get the idea. So, you remember Valerie Plame. She was that CIA operative who was married to, Joe Wilson. He was an ambassador to I forgot what country he was ambassador to. But, she was basically considered like a hero to neoliberals because, Cheney and Scooter Libby, who's the guy who basically took the fall for revealing her identity. And by the way, what kind of a name is Scooter? That's just too damn close to Cedar for my taste. Come to think of it, Sham Cedar. He seems like the kind of guy who would be a snitch or a squealer. So Sham Squealer seems kind of appropriate. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling on that. I guess my main point is, we need to kind of step outside of our own, U.S. American-centric point of view of the world. We got to start thinking of how other countries view us. If you do that, you realize, our government's interfered in almost every part of the globe. And, when it comes down to it, we ain't all that. So that's my main point. I want to free up the lines, let everybody have their say, and you have a great weekend. Thanks for allowing me to call in, man.
You got Peace. It, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I'm tired of Russia too. I'm rushed out. No more donations, no more donations, no more Russians. No more Russia, Russia, Russia. Look, I had this thing going with Russia.com. Kind of sidetracked a little bit, but I still have the website. You can still go to Russia.com and submit your entry into that. I know a couple of people did. One of my callers, Eric, did. We had a number of people. I got a couple of cool stories. I'm about to take some time out and put together that Russia story and do the actual giveaway that I wanted to do with that, where I give to my people who call into the show and people who donated and people who participated in the Russia thing. So go to Russia.com and find out more about it, guys, and speak back, fight back to the Russia crap. All right, fight against it. We got a band like Voltron and go against the Russian propaganda evil. All right, I'm going to the next call, 917. 917, you're live. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yo, Tim Black. It's your boy KJ from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
What's up, KJ? How you doing, man?
Long time, brother. How you been?
I'm good, man. How you been, man? You right there. It's been a long time.
I know, brother. I've been busy, taking care of business here and got the farm going here in Brooklyn, so I've been real busy. Got the tomatoes, the corn, everything's coming up. It's looking lovely.
That's great, man. Great to hear it, man. What's up with your boy Trumpy, man?
Well, I just want to let you know, I too was at that meeting. I was rolling a fat joint in the corner, so full disclosure, but listen, man, like the last guy said, about the Russia thing, this is the craziest stuff that people, like the media, just keeps harping on this thing. And, I mean, come on. Do you know how many governments we've been involved with? Forget about meddling in their elections, but we've actually overthrown governments by meddling in their elections. Our country's been doing this for decades, and other countries have done this throughout the history of the world. So the fact that they keep trying to make a mountain out of it's not even a molehill. It's like a molehill's hill off to the side. Mm-hmm. It's just so absurd that this is it. This is all they got. And it was so funny because it was dying down, and they were freaking out. So then all of a sudden, Donald Jr. has a meeting with this woman. And right away, they try to make it sound like she, is the Russian government.
Right.
She's connected to some really bad, cheesy pop star. It's just like... And did you see the publicist guy who set up the meeting? He's this big schlubbits from, Miami. And, but it's just so ridiculous that, our media wants to act like our government is supposed to be so perfect and squeaky clean, and how dare somebody take a meeting with somebody from, give me a break. But, like I said, this too shall pass. It's summer now. Most people could care less anyway. I mean, the media's got to have something to talk about. Yeah. Clearly, they don't care about the fact that Congress is not doing their job. The Senate's not doing their job. Healthcare should be the number one thing that should be talked about, let alone focused on. If they were real reporters and they really cared about people, that's the story. That should be the only story. That should be the lead right now, is why Congress and why the Senate, why aren't they doing their job? And getting, I don't care which way it goes, but this health care issue has to be taken care of because the Obamacare thing is collapsing. So what are they going to do? Just not get anything done? And then they're going to go on vacation. And then they come back in late September, and then more people are going to lose their coverage because more companies are pulling out of this failing system? I mean, it's ridiculous. But you know, and that story about this mental patient in Pennsylvania. This is just another perfect example of why marijuana should be legalized in every state, just to avoid this type of stuff. And watch, there'll be people that'll use this story in that way to hopefully legalize. It's ridiculous. We have it legal in some states now, and you know, the latest story is actually, you know, they legalized in Las Vegas and Nevada, and they just had a big story that they're running out of marijuana already. And the governor's like, hey, we have a shortage. We have a problem. It's like, really? Is that the problem? Wow, okay, that's no problem to have. I mean, that should be really, you know, that should just become a national thing. Come on, at this point, give me a break. If people smoke marijuana, like, it's legal anyway. So what's the difference? And this way you're going to avoid these crazy freaks that are, you know, whether it's Pennsylvania, whether it's here in Brooklyn, anywhere. I mean, people constantly pull those types of crimes where people are trying to buy drugs, whether it's an ounce, a pound, a joint. You know, this way you're going to completely avoid that, and then the police actually can focus on real crime and real issues within communities. I mean, let this marijuana thing go. So I hope that eventually that, you know, happens. I mean, it's just a sick, terrible story. But, you know, it'll continue to happen as long as it's illegal, you know. But, you know, just wanted to give you a call. I know it's been a while, and hope all's well on your end. Looks like you lost a few more pounds, brother. I don't know. How you doing with that?
Yeah, man, just, you know, don't eat much. Busy, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I'm hoping that I appreciate you, man, you know. Trying to get like you know.
Yeah, man, yeah. Well, you know, just, you know, drink a lot of water. Stay away from the soda.
All right, look, man. Thank you, KJ, for calling up. Good to hear from you as always, bro. You got it, man. You got it. That's my brother right there, man. Glad to hear from him, man. Yeah, we got an open format, man. You know, my man KJ, he voted Trump. I'm like, okay, let's talk, man. Gives you perspective. We need perspectives. People are like, I want perspective, but it has to be right here in this perspective. Give me perspective in this perspective. Like, no, man, this is a, you know. Don't give him your platform, Tim Black. Oh, so give it to you, though. It's funny how that works. KJ used the term slummets. I was going to add, I wrote it down as slummets. What the fuck is a slummets? It doesn't sound good. Sounds like a disheveled human being. Like God just took his body saying, Go ahead. I don't know, man. 484. You live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Tim, it's me, Jared from Downingtown, PA. Nice to talk to you again.
All right, my brother. What's on your mind?
How you? Yeah, this whole murder thing in Bucks County, it's really freaking me out because I don't live that far away from Bucks County. You know, it kind of makes me, you know, wish some, you know, that Dexter guy from, you know, the HBO show Dexter. I wish sometimes he could come back in real life and just, you know, take care of all these, like, serial killer lunatics who are out in these streets sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Yes, sir.
It's crazy with these people. And the whole cannabis marijuana situation. Listen, I went to Denver last year in 2016 for a conference there. And, you know, I mean, you know, you just go to like the stores and, you know, you just show them your ID. And if you're 21, you know, you just get, you know, you get your weed and then you smoke it. You know, you can't actually smoke it out in public, but, you know, you can smoke it in certain areas indoor. And, you know, I mean, it's a bunch of nonsense, honestly. It really is. I mean, I think this whole war on drugs thing, we should just legalize all drugs, honestly. Because, like, I mean, if you really look back at the history of prohibition on pretty much any kind of drugs, it pretty much always goes back to like some kind of racial issue, pretty much. Like I think the reason opium was banned in the United States was because of the Chinese, and they wanted to the Chinese coming over for the railroads to work on, so they wanted to really start discriminating against them. So yeah, the whole war on drugs, it's a bunch of nonsense and all that. But what I really wanted to call about was in Syria. Did you hear recently about the Syrian ceasefire?
Yes.
Well, actually, from what I've been hearing, it is the U.S. is just back out of agreeing upon the ceasefire. Now, I just saw a video about this. You can go to Jason Unruh, go to his YouTube channel. So go to Jason Unruh. Yeah, you can just have him in, and he'll be able to come up. But according to Commander Lieutenant General Stephen Townsend, he said recently today, there is not a CJTFOIR, that's the U.S.-led coalition in Syria, by the way, participation in the ceasefire in southwestern Syria. That's not on our charter. So Trump said one thing with Putin to make up this, little fairy tale ceasefire that they came up with in Syria. And now the general's basically saying, oh, we're not going to abide by that ceasefire. And Israel, a few days before that, said, oh, the ceasefire, we're not going to abide by that either. So it kind of makes me wonder, does Trump even, I don't think he actually runs the what's going on in Syria. I mean, if the generals are literally saying, listen, we're not going to abide by anything you say or do, I mean, at what point do you have to say, like, how much of our presidency is actually legit and how much are just puppets? I sometimes wonder, Obama, I don't know how much power he had sometimes. I really wonder, like, how much power Obama really had to a certain extent and how much he was a puppet. I don't know. What do you think?
Man, I have no idea, brother. I have no idea.
It's crazy. Yeah. I just get a bad feeling that something's probably going to happen in Syria soon. Because if you go to, you know Robbie Martin, right? The brother of Abby Martin?
Yes.
Yeah, go to his Twitter account, and he had a great thing about the neocon wars. And he said in December 2012, CNN posted something about Syria was preparing for a chemical attack. Where does that sound familiar? Oh, wait. Syria just did was preparing for a chemical attack a few days ago, and then it mysteriously stopped. So I predict there's probably going to be another one of these false flag Syria chemical attacks by the White Helmets. But hey, I guess you got more callers on the line. I'll let you go, and hopefully we're not in Damascus by the end of the year. Hey, you have a good one, Tim.
All right, brother. You too. Thank you for the phone call, my friend. Ah, man. I tell you, 734, you're live. Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Tim. This is Jack from Detroit. How are you?
Hey, Jack. How are you?
Pretty good. So, just to continue the conversation, I think the Broken Carpenter had about the death penalty. And it just goes to show you that this Russia narrative is taking away all the imperative discussions that we could be having, that it's taking away the dangerous parts of Trump's cabinet that need to be replaced. It takes away the fact that Kamala Harris had every chance and every opportunity to prosecute Stephen Mnuchin. Shows us that Jeff Sessions is nothing but a a hypocrite and, a liar. And he just feeds the continuous cycle of the prison industrial complex. And that's why I say, it would be important to hire someone such as Michael A. Wood Jr. to be the Attorney General, not someone like Jeff Sessions. And it's amazing because, like, I even know Steve Wilkos, like from the Steve Wilkos show, like he was kind of someone who was more towards the, I guess, just from what I saw, like his perception was more towards the Blue Lives Matter side, and then he did like a 180 after what happened with Philando Castile, and he starting to switch his opinion more towards Black Lives Matter now. And so you're starting to see progressivism continue and grow, and especially when it comes to stopping the prison industrial complex, to stopping the drug war. I mean, the Republicans were the ones that initiated it, but people like Bill Clinton, part of the Democratic Party, also accelerated it. And we just need to form a new party. I mean, when you have two parties that are a virtual oligopoly, there's no excuse for that, none. And when you see that, I mean, in our Constitution, it says we're supposed to have a more perfect yin-yang, and we don't have a more perfect yin-yang. It's always every election we're just split, 50-50. And so if we can get stuff done that we agree with, such as reducing the prison population and, I don't know, reducing our wars and showing that it's not working. In fact, if anything, if you want to take down radical Islam, you have to do it through mental health care. You can't do it through bombs. It's like what Jimmy Dore said. I mean, there's no such thing as packing books inside of a bomb, like Christian bombs. We can't explode Christian bombs over the Middle East. It's just not possible. So I think hopefully President Trump, all he's got to do, and all we got to hope that he's got to do, and what we got to push for him to do, is to end the military-industrial complex and the prison-industrial complex, and maybe we can get a progressive in 2020 like Tim Canova or Tulsi Gabbard or somewhere along the line. Who knows?
I hear you, Jack, man. I appreciate the phone call, my friend. I don't know about Trump doing that, but it sure would be nice. It sure would be nice. 804. You're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Well, I'm going to let you make a guess on that one, Tim. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Montague?
I'm doing all right. Nice to hear from you. Nice to see that you're doing all right.
You know it.
All right, so if I'm kind of going to tag up on some of the stuff that the previous caller touched on, because yes, the Russian narrative is keeping our eyes off of a lot of things, and like especially when it comes to issues of racial justice and environmental justice. Mm-hmm. We got to still remember that, for example, Flint still doesn't have clean drinking water, as with a lot of cities across the country. We also have to take into account that Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump have expanded police power by either instituting executive orders or by pulling back monitoring of the police departments that had a history of civil rights violations. That's what Jeff Sessions did, but most of us wouldn't pay attention to that because we're so busy having Russia slammed in our face that our eyes are being taken off the main issues. And I think that's what's happening here, because as much as these issues, as much as the Russia issue is being thrown at Trump, and as much as the deep state is trying to unseat Trump. What folks are not realizing is that they're literally turning Donald Trump into a Teflon Don. Just like with the mob bosses back in the day. They're literally giving him a Teflon coating. And I say that because we all know that the Russian story is a hoax. And yet the media is still pushing it anyway.
Right.
And while that's going on, people are still, like, for example, here in Virginia, in Charlottesville last weekend, I believe, the Ku Klux Klan came to my birthplace city, Charlottesville, Virginia, and held a protest because of the city's decision to remove Confederate statues from the city. Now, that, like I said, that's an issue of racial justice.
Yeah.
Because here in Virginia, the state actually funds the maintenance and upkeep of Confederate statues and cemeteries. That's paid for by the state. So the black residents of Virginia pay taxes that are going to fund the upkeep of dead Confederate soldiers that upheld white supremacy. This is a issue that we should be focused on, at least here locally, and there are local issues that y'all should be focused on too, back at wherever y'all live. But the thing is, we can't focus on those issues if we're going to continue to have Russia slammed in our face. You can't fight pipelines, fight the construction of pipelines if Russia is always being slammed in your face. And so I encourage everybody to continue whatever discussions you've already started, but try to break through to these damn Democrats and get them to recognize that, like I said earlier, they are making Donald Trump into a Teflon Don.
Yep.
To a point where anything they say against him will just slide off, and regardless of what legitimate grievance we have, it will fall on deaf ears. Because one of the things that they have to realize is this: if Trump gets impeached, Mike Pence is going to come up and take his place. Now, Mike Pence is not the crazy madman type. He's actually sane and has executive experience on how to run a government because he was a governor of Indiana. He's a lot more dangerous than Trump is. And these dumb Democrats are trying to get Trump impeached. Like, we have to break through to them. We have to smack some sense into them. And if it means that we have to continue to allow Democrats to lose elections locally and statewide elections, then that's what needs to be done until they hit rock bottom and they recognize that it's time for them to start with this to change and start fighting for the will of the people.
I hear you, brother. I really do, man. And you know what, Montague? Sometimes I wonder, while you were talking, I was thinking about, I bet, and I'm not positive, but I got a feeling that the media has created other Russias, like other Russia scare stories years before, that I just wasn't paying attention to it, where they distract the large amounts of the public to like really stupid shit while other things are going on that we should be looking at. So this is not just about Russia. This is about a trend. This is about our media who does this constantly. Do you remember any other stories that they did the same thing or similar activity?
Well, what I'm looking at is when I see the whole Russia thing, first I'm seeing a possibility that that the deep state is trying to manufacture consent to have us fight another war, to put us into another world war.
Right.
Because, and this is going to offend a lot of viewers, but I'm going to say it anyway because this needs to be put out there. This world is currently on a suicide pact. The powers that be have put this world on a suicide pact, mainly because of the fact that people are now fully aware of how this capitalist system was designed to work against the people and for the benefit of wealthy benefactors and those that have political power. And that's why you see all this opposition against, like, for example, against single-payer health care. For example, California had a bill. They killed the bill. And the main reason is because if people had actual access to health care, then that would mean that would be one less thing that people have to worry about obtaining to survive.
Right.
And that's the last thing they want, because they have to maintain control of all resources at all costs. And they see that, and they see the rising threat from the people that their control of resources is going to come to an end. So that's why you see all these pipelines being built. That's why you see all this drumming up of the war machine, because they're trying to put this world on a suicide pact and basically scare the shit out of people enough to where we will surrender control to whoever, as long as we get it to stop.
Wow.
But we have to be willing to wake up past that, and and break the world out of this pact. Because just like Joe Son said, the very fate of this world is now in our hands. We either stand up and we fight to save this earth, or we're done.
We're done. Thank you, Montague. I appreciate you, man, for calling up, brother. It was great meeting you in VA, brother. You know that, man. Thank you, Montague, my friend. Big time supporter for I think this is like the 3rd year. Yeah, we've been grinding it out over here. Doing it well. Thank you, Montague. Let me go to the next call. I got a 111 number in the house. You're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name and where you calling from?
It's Curtis. When car dealers attack, Tim.
Oh man, Curtis.
Curtis, you hang up on me now. It's not Freedom Friday.
Listen.
If you don't allow me to speak, it's not Freedom Friday, right?
Hey, I control it though. It's my platform, brother. Look, no hate speech. Go right ahead.
Okay, listen. I want to make a little bit of comment in regards to the Russian thing. I think some of it is a diversion, and the media does play diversions. And I think you guys have keyed into that. But the reality is that the Russians were going to build a pipeline into Syria. They have a naval base there. If that energy is released into Europe, it competes with the petrodollar, the energy companies in Europe, and us. Every nation we kicked in is the petrodollar. They have to protect the petrodollar by the currency, just like the cars now. We could have had electric cars, but they don't want electric cars because they want fuel consumption. As you see, France says in 2040 they're going to ban the combustion engine. Many of the nations in the world are going to pull away from the combustion engine. But there is some truth that, as far as the lawyer that you see that was involved in the Russian meeting, this woman was involved recently, just last year. $125 million money laundering scam in New York with the Russians, and they settled for $6 million. Yes, remember, they had sanctions against Russia. When you lift sanctions against a country, the corporations get to set up shop. It creates new markets. So and the Russians will use anyone to relieve the sanctions over the UK, the issues that we've had over there, to bring in. And then the corporation state, the fascist state, sells up for blood money. And as far as Cordova, he works for the University of Nova in regards to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Debbie Schultz knows who I am, okay, personally. Okay, I've been calling her for years. But Cordova works for Nova. And Nova's another corporate state university in Florida. Okay, he knows who I am, too. I've sent him many emails before. There's a guy named Joe Kaufman. He's a Jewish guy. He's a Republican. He's ran 6 times against Debbie, but they won't fund him. Now, a few years ago, I called them up. I called some of the richest donors in the Republican Party, Stephen Schwartzman, Cooperman, and some others, okay? Sheldon Edelson, which is the biggest donor of the Republican Party, the Sands Hotels, the mafia, and they wouldn't finance Kaufman to throw Debbie out because they want to control both sides of the fence. So Kaufman gets about $600,000. he never gets any TV or billboard ads. He never could, because they want to stack the deck with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Debbie Wasserman Schultz did it back when Romney was running. She did a town hall meeting with a guy named Mike Jackson of Florida. He owns Auto Nation. Auto Nation is the biggest car dealership in America. It's also the biggest GM dealership. She did a town hall meeting with this guy. He was supposed to be a Republican. This guy was selling cars to Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein had over 200 cars in his stable. He was tied to Epstein at the hip. And then they grandstand recently about this pedophile run. Half of the pedophile people arrested that they said were basically repeat offenders that violated their probation. They had to go rearrest them. And then they tell you that Sessions is going to go after. There's a bunch of them on the internet saying, yeah, they're going after the pedophile. They're not going to. That's the deep state. It's a sworn secret to defend. They're not going to go after them. And so now they grandstand. Anything that Sessions does, you see recently they grandstand in a big healthcare fraud deal. That's been going on for years. Obama could have busted them people too. Okay? And then they grandstand. As far as Trump, it's New York Mafia style. It's a Mafia style government, but that's the system that we have anyways. And here's the real key thing that I want to get to your listeners today. Why can't we vote the senators out? There's only 100 of them, and what the elites do, the senators push the bill. The rest of the pigs stay in the background. The senators push the bill, and it passes the Senate, then it goes to the House. There's only 100 and some of them. We can't even
90
vote the
seconds.
senators out. And so if we can't vote the senators out, we can't change the tempo of Congress. And if Tim Cordova gets in there, you might think he's a great guy, you might like him, but he's not going to have much of an impact on anything. He's not. There's never going to be enough people in Congress to change anything, and the system knows that. But when you got 333 million people and you can't vote 100 senators out, it tells you who's in control.
60 seconds.
I know people are crying their heart out. They're pushing very hard to try to change things. You and all kinds. Look how many websites are on the internet. Now, they do have some impact because they bring an awareness to the public, but they can't even get in debates. Look at Rand Paul or Ron Paul. All them years. He was 20 years in Congress. They can't even get this. So when the midterms come in the next presidency, if they can't get in debates, they will not be heard. They will not be heard, Tim. Let's start a program today. Find somebody. I can't do this. I can't do this because I have a court case, the 17th Circuit Court. You see it on my website. When car dealers attack, the same district where that federal prosecutor was killed. Same district, the Broward County Mafia down there in Florida. Okay. And Schultz is talking to this guy.
10 seconds.
Why would you have a civil rights attack involving children in front of a GM dealership for 8 years? I've been in court with these guys. I got a hearing coming up the 20th with Sandra Perman and the 17th Circuit Civil Court. Okay, and I record them. I put them on the internet. Why? Why? Why can't we change anything? Because the American people aren't going to do it. Because everyone's just concerned about themselves, their own blood money, Tim.
Right.
If you're comfortable, no one wants to live poor. If you live poor, you live pretty miserable sometimes. You live in fear. And and the people that don't live that aren't poor, they don't care about the people poor as long as your family. We can't even stop them. They're genociding our children. Did you see the Italians go in the street, about 200,000 of them over the vaccines the other day? We can't even stop them from poisoning their children. We can't protect our children from pedophilia. Half the states in America are allowed underage marriage. Half of them. 26 states permit it. We can't protect our own blood. We're in trouble. But let's start a program. Sign some brilliant people. There's brilliant people. Let's start a program to vote the senators out. You see, like I said, look at these senators. Look how much power they have. If you buy 100 senators, you don't have to worry about the rest of the pigs in Congress. They'll line up behind them. But anyway, I got to go. I appreciate your time. But as far as Tim Cordova, I contacted him, sent him emails about Schultz. He won't roll because he works for a fascist university called Nova. And Auto Nation gives money to that organization too. But anyhow, when car dealers attack isn't just a civil rights attack involving over a dispute in front of a car dealership. There was a Jewish guy that came out there that had cancer. He was moved to Dodge by a federal subpoena that's dead. Debbie knows this. But now what's happening, people are ending up dead now. If you reveal the wrong thing on the right people, you end up dead in America.
I hear you, brother.
Scary.
I look. I appreciate that, man. Curtis' last words. Like, this was the best Curtis call. Curtis, this was the best Curtis call in the last 2 years, Curtis. And his last statement was, if you reveal the right thing or the wrong thing about the right people, you end up dead. Go ahead, Curtis. Preach, Curtis, preach.
Bye, Felicia.
I tell you.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Curtis, you mean to tell me it's not a conspiracy theory that bad things happen to people who mess with other people's money? Who knew we lived in a country where money was important and you could die over it? No, it's a kooky conspiracy theory that people with money might kill you if you mess up their money or if you threaten their power. Oh, not in America. All right, Curtis, I'm being sarcastic, man. These people that don't believe that that the powerful people wouldn't protect their power, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know what hood they grew up. I don't know what world they grew up in. It's just, I don't know. In the make-believe world of lollipops and unicorns and I don't know. Women made out of horses, man horse running around. And nothing bad happens to anyone. We don't see color, we don't see religion, we don't see gender. Meanwhile, the water's poison, and we drone kids. 90% of our drones kill innocent people, and we don't give a fuck, But it's a conspiracy theory. Yeah, hey. All right. Thank you for that call, my friend. We're going to 661. 661, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Trudy, and that's what I'm calling about. I always say when I call that I'm from Bakersfield, but the fact is I'm from the wrong side of the tracks. I'm from Oildale. It's a kind of a suburb, I guess.
Well, thank you for the confession, Trudy. I love you anyway. I don't care, but thank you though, sister. I do.
I didn't understand you.
Oh, I said, I don't care where you're from. We love you anyway. But go ahead, Trudy. What's on your mind?
Well, the point of it is here in Oildale, the wrong side of the tracks, we're all poor, and it's all mixed race. And anyway, we're all conditioned, and I didn't realize how much I was conditioned to fear and obey the police until I got a roommate that's on drugs, and he's had whores and heroin addicts staying back there and all kinds of problems. And the other day, my landlady said she wanted to get back in there, and so I went to knock on the door to give them the 24-hour notice that she was going to come in and do some repairs. And one of the whores in there yelled at me that she never wanted to beat the living shit out of an old lady so much in her life. And she knew her rights, and by God, she was calling the police. And the police got here, and they took her to jail. And my landlady came over, and she called the police out here twice. And then the other day, people have been telling me there's a woman up the street that's a police dispatcher, and she could help me get my roommate out of here. And so the other day I'm standing in the kitchen, and all of a sudden I hear sheriff's office probation check. And I looked in the living room, and there was 4 police standing in my door. And when I came in, they kind of backed up a little bit. But they said they were looking for the woman that lived here 6 years ago. And I said, well, she hadn't lived here for 6 years. I've been here, and I've seen her, but she's not a friend of mine or anything. And apparently the one in charge gives me this really stern look. We've gotta. And they all put their hands on their guns and took a step forward. And I said, well, by all means, come in and look around. And so they came in and they poked through my drawers and closets, and I went in the kitchen, and one of them came in and said, "Get out of the kitchen, there's knives in here." And I busted out laughing, but he didn't smile at all. So I got the hell out of there, and I found out by all this that I've been totally conditioned to obey and be fearful of the fucking police. And it turns out I ran into that woman in the grocery store, and I started to tell her what happened, and before I got half a sentence out, she says, "Oh, that was about your roommate. We're just harassing him, trying to get him out of there." And I'm like, oh my fucking God. My roommate's an asshole, so I get harassed by the police, and what a world.
Well, Trudy, I'm glad to know they didn't do anything. They didn't physically hurt you.
No, I was very obedient. I was so shocked at myself. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm kind of a belligerent. I'm an old lady. I don't take shit. But the conditioning works, Tim. It's disgusting. And I mentioned this to some friends that are supposedly real progressive, and they were terribly outraged. What a thing! They violated your civil rights. And I said, yeah, kind of like Michael Brown and Philando Castile, and they're all, well, you know, the judges only do what they have to do. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
All right. That's
it, baby.
That's my rant, and it may not have even been appropriate for the venue, but
no, it's appropriate as hell. Thank you so much, Trudy. We appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you, Tim.
Give it up for Trudy being alive and not getting nothing out the kitchen, not getting a butcher knife out the kitchen or nothing. No, because they sound like I don't know. So it turns out it was all a thing who harassed the roommate. They want to get him out of there, so they make him uncomfortable. You know, they did that on a job I was on once. They said, "We're going to promote you, Tim Black." It's like, really? I'm a promoter? He said, "Yeah. You now work over here." I was like, okay. Any adjustment in pay? No. How's it a promotion if I get paid the same? Their goal was to make me uncomfortable till I left. But I didn't give it to them. And I got unemployment. Winning. Got him. All right. Thank you, Trudy, for that story. 808. You're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name and where you calling from?
Aloha, Tim. This is your man Tater out here in Hawaii. Calling you beautiful island weather.
My man. How you doing?
Well, can't complain. Well, I did call to complain, but, you know, it's nice to say I can't complain. So I'm calling about, you've probably heard of this. There's been a couple of hit pieces on Caitlin Johnstone that were published in Counterpunch this week. Because I know H.A. did a video on it, and Holly Silliger did a video on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those of us that didn't see it, so Caitlin, she wrote a piece saying that those of us that are leftists, that are anti-war, we shouldn't be ashamed of allying ourselves with people on the right who are also anti-war. And apparently there's people on the left that are upset about that, upset enough to write hit pieces on her. And it just seems like to me that being anti-war, that's not really a left-right issue. Because if the deep state and the neocons push us into World War III, well, if we're dead, we can't argue economic policy. I mean, that's kind of one of those things, trying to stop the wars, you just take the allies wherever you can get them. And I wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on, do you think it's okay to ally yourselves with, you know, people on the right who otherwise hold despicable beliefs? You know, they might be racist, you know, they might be sexist, or might be anti-gay. There might be a lot of bad things, but if we can work together with them to stop the wars, I don't really see that as a bad thing. I was wondering what your thoughts on that are.
Well, I tell you, man. You said Tater, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. I agree that you should work with people who have where you find common ground is where you should work. That's sort of the purpose of common ground. Like that's the ground you work on. You don't worry about the ground that you can't find common ground on. But I would like to add this one caveat to it. I would like to get something for working with them. So other than we're working together on that, but I'd like to get them to help me work on prison reform, for instance. So like I'm willing to, throw my weight in with the right or with anyone, right? But there's some things I'd like to get done as well. So it would be nice if we could find other common ground on other issues as well. But yeah, man, you take what you can get. That's what I think.
Well, I tell you what, no, if you can find one thing that you can work on together, that might help you find more common ground on other things in the future.
Yeah, maybe, brother.
It's just a show of respect, It's a lot easier to work with people that you've worked together with in the past than just spewing hate, because there's such a vile hatred in America today. The left hates the right and right hates the left, and
yep.
so much divisive identity politics that if you can find something to work together on, especially when it comes to stopping the wars, I think that kind of transcends left and right.
There you go. I think it does. But I think so does prison reform as well. I would think. But look, brother, I appreciate it.
Thanks for taking my call, Tim.
Sure, brother. I appreciate you.
I just want to give a shout out to you. You got a retweet from Julian Assange. Hey, man, you hitting the big time. So you take it easy, brother.
Hey, man, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Give this guy applause. Thank you for recognizing that. It's kind of a big deal. Got overshadowed. Also hit that 100,000. That kind of got overshadowed. Kind of coincided with some other stuff, but it was a big week for me. But yeah, man, like you work with people where you can, right? That's like I said, that's where you get that's what common ground is supposed to be about. You find something that you can agree on. Then you find your allies for your other issues. But like I said, man, I'm really on this prison reform. It's horrific. It's horrific what we're doing in this country. All right, brother. Let me go to the next call. I got a 405 number in the house. 405, you're live. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Mr. Black.
Hey, how you doing?
This is Cosmo Binnicker from Oklahoma.
Cosmo, talk to me, Cosmo. What's up?
Oh, man. Well, it's another week. The Russia gate has seems like it finally caught a flame, and that was just as quickly snuffed out by just the devil in the details. I'm not sure how to feel about that, other than I was about half ready to make a retraction. Gosh, yeah, I decided, you know what, I'm going to talk a little bit about this interesting story I came across. Let me see if I can pull it up. That comes, well, to be fair, it comes from CNN. So take this with a massive grain of salt. But apparently, according to them, Texas has released my next door neighbors, my dear next door neighbors from down south, have decided that, in their infinite wisdom when it comes to weapons legislation, that the best way to counter a gun was with a sword. So apparently, they've now legalized open carry for blades longer than 5 inches.
Who is this? What is going on? You playing a trumpet or something? What's going on, Cosmo?
No, I just wanted to, I wanted to elaborate on the silliness of this for just a second. Like, outside of me loving anime and anime dudes and samurais slicing up bullets like left, right, and center, there's a limit to how much good a sword will actually do you. Like, who actually goes to Texas with the thought of, I don't have a revolver, well, better get my claymore. Like, I just want to press this through my mind for a second. Like, outside of a Renaissance fair, like, who actually goes around needing to carry a 3-foot-long blade in an era where guns that can shoot past supersonic velocity chunks of hot lead? But where in God's name do you think that you're going to get close enough to actually make that useful? B, you're trained enough not to chop off your own hand while using it. I just can't help but think, although if it's any consolation, it's at least going to make for some interesting television when we get the next adaptation of Yojimbo set in the middle of El Paso, Texas.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy, man. So swords play. Okay. Kooky stuff.
The last story I wanted to talk about, and this is this isn't quite as humorous, because this involves two young black teenagers and their mother, who had a run-in with the police. Apparently, in this video, there's this 14-year-old kid who is apparently charged with some sort of burglary, and was being carted off. And the mother was taking footage of this, asking why the police officers were taking him. And then, out of nowhere, in the same clip, and within this very same clip, they tackle the elder brother of this kid, and then proceed to arrest him too. And now I've been trying my best to keep myself calm about this situation, in the sense that, you know, I mean, I've had my own run-ins with the police. Well, I had a run-in with the police once when I was in Tulsa. And looking back on it, I can't help but think sometimes, like, I could have died that day because I had accidentally drove into oncoming traffic, trying to get myself back onto the freeway, not realizing it was a one-way street.
Mm-hmm.
And the police drove up right in front of me. And as I pulled over, I just realized, oh my God, I am, like, at the time I was just afraid, oh shit, I'm gonna get fined, aren't I? But then, like, a couple weeks after that, Terrence Crutcher happened. And then I realized, oh shit, I could have actually died. And I mean, for me, as an Asian American, it's easy for me to say, you know, like, these are one-off events. Like, usually I could, if I'm mild-mannered enough and just don't, you know, make any dumb moves, I'll probably be okay. But there are people in this country that aren't nearly that lucky. And the realization that I could have perished and where so many others have is honestly terrifying to me. And that's just for traffic. And that's over traffic. These people weren't even caught in traffic. They were just yanked off the street in front of their own mother, and without any explanation, any due process. And now I don't know what's going to happen to those kids. Like, there's a good chance, I wish I could say elsewise, but there's a good chance that they may not be able to get out of this clean. And that to me is just such a sad statement of the kind of society that we live in. And so I don't wish to delve into a giant anarchy rant, but I just, sometimes events like this make me wonder if putting a small minority of the population to exercise the monopoly of violence in our society is really the best way we can go about it. Because if this is the kinds of results it produces, where we enable people to act on their racism and classism, I'm terrified of what the future might hold. I thank you so much for your time, Mr. Black, and as always, don't let anybody take your cornbread.
Thank you, Cosmo, man. What a call, man. What a call. You finished really strong there, Cosmo. What I've noticed, bro, and it's been very disheartening, and I've noticed it for a while, and it kind of, what happened with you on that freeway, is, I guess you didn't appear to be a certain way. You know, you didn't appear, you know, to look like someone who was threatening or someone who, when you look at them, the thought is what they may be capable of based on, you know, stereotypes, bigotry, these types of things that goes through people's heads. And a lot of people have this thing that plays in their head. They might not even realize it, where they can assume things based on someone's appearance, based on someone's skin tone, and don't even think about, you know, it's like automatic assumption that is made. I've tried to make these points with people to let people try to let people understand, like, maybe this has something to do with it. Oh no, it could not have anything to do with it. And they quickly are very dismissive that this exists in our society. And when they do admit that this exists in our society, where people make assumptions about other people based on race, based on gender, based on orientation of these things, if they concede that exists, they always make it be someone else. It's always some other. They would never ever see that in themselves, ever. You could give them a scenario, and you say, look, right here, look. So it's a problem in progressive, conservative, liberals, all across. It doesn't matter what your ideology is. And you're right. Well, look, I'm glad that nothing happened, that you were able to ride up that wrong side of the street. And they didn't think that you were on heroin, for instance, or didn't think you were running from a bank robbery. But if you may have been Tim Black, people could have made that assumption just because, hey, he's a black guy. It's probably coming from just doing a drive-by or something. It's probably frantic and all, you know. It's probably just running from, I don't know, selling drugs or something. Oh, God, we got to get, you know, and this is the reaction that they have. When someone else makes something else, like when you did it, it's like, oh, well, it's got to be a reasonable explanation for this. It's got to be a reason for it. Must be a mistake. Maybe he just went down the wrong road. Get where I'm going with this, Cosmo? You'd be surprised, and I have been surprised and deeply hurt by how the human mind works with people when it comes to this issue. And what's even more disturbing to me is the amount of people who are actually harbor these feelings and they can't see them. It's very disheartening. But Cosmo, that being said, brother, I'm glad that you're okay. And I hope that the issue with the two young men and the mother gets resolved. And I don't know the particulars of the case. But when it comes to people and the system, I always side with the system, because the system is much more powerful than the individual. So anyway, thank you for that call, Cosmo. Thank you, my brother. And no qualification on who my brother is. You are my brother. 205, right? Yeah, 205 time. 205. Hey, 205, you're live.
Hi.
Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Ruth Allen, and I'm calling from Alabama.
Ruth Allen, how you doing, Ruth? Hey, what's up, Ruth?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, Ruth, my friend. What's on your mind, Ruth?
Well, I wanted to say again that I think the video turned out awesome.
Thank you.
It was great. So you can probably guess what I called to talk about some more.
Sure, net neutrality.
Net neutrality. So I've been trying to find out what the people on the opposite side that are anti-net neutrality are saying, and so I wanted to rant about it because I've been mad. A lot of it has to do with ignorance, but I mean I'm sure there are like valid points out there. I just haven't been able to find them other than to make the ISPs more money. But I kind of wrote some stuff down, and so I was just going to read it real quick. Would that be cool?
Yes, it would.
Okay. This was something that I posted today. The majority of the people I see arguing against net neutrality don't even know what the debate is over currently. They don't know that it is in place as a Title II regulation right now, and reference some of the fear-mongering articles about what it might do, having net neutrality might do from 2014 or 2015, yelling, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But all the while, that is exactly what we are trying to say. No wonder they're confused when they don't even know how to check the date on an article. The debate is about what we have being taken away, the free and open internet, not something being introduced. So that was part of it. Yeah. And then I watched a video that was about I think it was titled something about net neutrality debunked, and so I wrote an entire response to it. I don't think it's going to take me over time or anything, but there we go. Net neutrality is simply the principle that the corporation connecting you to the internet doesn't get to control what you do on the internet, period. Since that seems to be a hard concept for you to understand, this is me addressing the guy that did the video. I am now going to counter the arguments he made in this video. His argument number one was saying that net neutrality regulation is not good just because other different regulations have contributed to the small number of available ISPs for consumers to choose from. Makes no sense. These are different issues. Net neutrality regulations have nothing to do with contributing to the number of ISPs or regulations on the healthcare industry, because for some reason he brought up the healthcare industry. The small number of ISPs to choose from is a reason to keep net neutrality, not to take it out. Dear Lord, the fact that certain regulations can lead to monopolies and less choice of ISPs does not mean that every regulation is bad. Some regulations are bad does not, or some regulations are bad equals all regulations must be bad is irrational. And then he said, if an ISP were to run their internet slowly to reduce costs, censor the internet, people would simply go to a different ISP. No. 87% of census blocks in the United States have a choice of 2 or fewer internet service providers, and 58% of census blocks have a choice of 0 or 1. And the source of that was U.S. Census data put out by the FCC themselves. There are high switching costs that not everyone can afford also. So if you don't like what your ISP is doing, just switch to another argument. Doesn't work at all. The market doesn't work naturally if the consumers favor. The market doesn't work naturally in the consumer's favor when very limited competition is going on.
Okay.
And then he played something about advertising. He was trying to debunk another video. And the person mentioned advertising. And then he went on about how the ISP corporations have to make money without bringing up why the guy had mentioned advertising. So I put advertising on corporate media contributes to the censorship of topics that advertisers would object to, often known as censorship.
Wow.
The internet is one of the last places where that doesn't happen everywhere. And so I asked him if he was saying that the ISPs have to go the same route as the corporate mainstream media or else it will fail. And then I brought up that there are claims that Title II net neutrality rules have hurt investment, but I put some references that points out that that's a lie.
All right. Well, look, Ruth, I really appreciate you calling in and giving that information. And I really appreciate you sending that information to net neutrality and working with me to help me produce a video. Like Ruth, she had some ideas about net neutrality, and I told her, well, I need a little bit of help because I wanted to, if I'm going to talk about it, I need to have like, it would be great to have some assistance on putting together the information so it'll be an impactful video that gave people data, right? Not just my feelings. So thank you, Ruth Allen, for helping me with that. Give it up for Ruth one more time. And look, guys, give it up for Ruth. As with Ruth, if you have a topic of a video, for instance, like it could be on any subject pretty much. For this particular instance, it was net neutrality. Ruth is passionate about it. She knew she had a lot of resources. She did a little research or a lot of research, and she sent the stuff to me. And I compiled it, and I did a video, and I gave her credit. and we work together. And this is what happens when people have like staff. And if I had like people, I'd have people, you know what I mean, who help me put together stuff so I could put together more impactful type videos. So if you have a topic and you want to get the word out about that topic, and say you don't want to make a video because you're not a video making type of person, but you would like to see it come to life and you would like to see that topic get some exposure, where you can partner with me, and you can, if you do the research, I will definitely deliver the product and we can get the word out. So look, the video didn't make any money. Don't, you know, it's not about money. It's about the message. So if there's something important that you want out and you don't see it, we can create it together. And it's sort of like us just doing a collaborative effort. So thank you once again, Ruth Allen, for showing we can do more than just call up to the show. We can do research. We can send in stuff. We can collaborate virtually across the internet, and we can create damn good content that informs the world. So give it up for Ruth one more time, man, because I really appreciate her. It's what we do. It's what we do together. Damn, I'm kind of proud of that, man. That's a good thing, what we did, right? So what? There's a school in your neighborhood that's about to be shut down, or there's a water issue, or there's a, you know, it's just like it's hard to do everything, and I just feel like sometimes I don't have all the information I need to really punch them in the mouth. So if you want to help me punch them in the mouth, and you want to see them get punched in the mouth, and a righteous punch in the mouth, we need you. All right. There's other things to do than just give money. You could give that. You could give your expertise. You can give your data. You can give your research. All right, guys. Let me go to the next call. I appreciate that once again. 772. You're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Tim. It's Eric from Florida. How's it going?
Eric, my brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I went to the doctor's today to get my head checked up on, and it actually went by very well, and I'm actually very happy.
All right, brother.
That it, you know, wasn't anything serious. So okay. I'm very, very grateful and very lucky and happy about that.
Well, I'm very grateful too, and very happy for you, brother.
Thank you, Tim. I greatly appreciate it, and I always appreciate all the hard work that you do, and always keep up the good work. And we love what you do.
Thanks, man.
That you have everybody on, and like HA, Nico, everybody.
Yeah, brother.
You do, and I love independent media, and I always appreciate everything. So thank you again. You have yourself a wonderful weekend, and you take care.
You too, man. Give it up for Eric, man. Glad to help. Glad to know Eric is in good health, man. Eric is a great friend of the show, has always been, and I had no idea, man. Like I didn't know anything was wrong, or if there was a potential for anything being wrong. I'm not everywhere, you know, but I'm glad to find out. I became aware of the issue, and found out there was no, that you're good. So that's the best time, really, because I would hate to hear of any bad news with you, bro. So anyway, thank you, Eric, my friend. Thank you so much for calling in and always being positive. 920, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What up, Tim? It's Riley from Wisconsin.
Riley, talk to me. Riley, how you doing?
I am all right. I am just sick of all the bullshit. Like, I can't even really deal with it anymore. Like, basically this week, I didn't even pay attention to anything on TV or anything Russia-related, anything Trump-related. It's just, for me, at this point, it's all noise, and it's hard staying positive. But I kind of wanted to talk or bring up some of the stories that I saw this week that were probably not on TV. CBS is looking into buying CNN. I just saw that this morning, which is obviously a huge deal, and apparently no one has a problem with it, as if there's nothing wrong with two giant corporations merging once again. It happens all over. It happened Amazon, Whole Foods, Time Warner, and AT&T. It just keeps happening and happening, and it's like everything is just getting consolidated into one singular source, and I think that's our main problem, and I don't really think there's any way to stop it, so it's just kind of hard to deal with. I also saw that Apple is projected to be a $1 trillion company within the next year. I don't even, like, 1 trillion, I don't even know what that means. Like, I can't even comprehend that. And the fact that we're finally, like, breaking that threshold it's crazy. Like, what happens when Apple decides to buy the one last or two last internet service providers?
Wow.
Getting into the net neutrality discussion. Like, we're not that far away from any of that, and it's just all really scary. What else did I hear about this week? Microsoft launches AI talking camera. Get this, ready for this, Tim? For the visually impaired. You gotta make it about the visually. I'm gonna sound like an asshole, but this is how they slip things in, and this is how they get really bad things in place, and no one can question it because, well, it's helping a certain group of people, so it's a good thing. We have to break all those fucking labels and identities and all that bullshit. But this was really fucking scary because basically it's an AI, but it's video. So they have the camera and they're pointing the camera around, and the AI is learning the environment. It's learning what it's looking at. You point the camera at a plant, and it says it'll predict or use the AI to figure out what the plant is, what it's looking at. It even goes as far as like facial recognition and knowing who it's looking at. So say you're with your friend and you're recording your friend, it'll pick up, oh, I'm talking to John and he's looking a little angry, and the AI will tell you that. And this is supposedly for the visually impaired to help them better see the world. So looking at that, it's freaking crazy, and the implications of that are, I don't even need to get into because it's I think it's fucking nuts. Let's see what else. Going back to one of the callers, he mentioned to form a more perfect union, and that's what we need to kind of get to. We do have a perfect union. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party is a perfect union together. They don't serve people, they serve the corporations. They're in perfect harmony together. That's fucking reality. Let's see what else. Yeah, they serve the corporations as if they were people, and that's the problem with the United States.
Wow.
No one gives a fuck about people. It's all corporations. Sorry I'm going off, but this is just everything that I've came across this week, and yeah. Going back to what you said originally, or kind of when you started the talks on how you're being too nice to people, that's something I'm learning myself too this week. And yeah, we can't be nice to everyone. Like, we want to be nice, but you can't always. You got to have self-respect for yourself and what you do, and sometimes show some tough love. So that's stuff I'm learning too. But yeah, when you said that, it kind of made me think of that. And yeah, you can't be nice to everyone. If you're nice to everyone, there's always people that are going to, use your kindness and take advantage and make it seem like it's a weakness and all that. But now I'm kind of just rambling.
All right, brother.
Let's see if I have anything else.
Well, hey, look, man.
All right, that's it.
You got it.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Me, myself. The real three branches of the government are big oil, big pharma, and big banks. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Tim, so much for everything you do. Seriously, like what you do, if we lose the internet with net neutrality, what are we going to do?
Brother.
All right, peace.
Riley, you killed it, man. You killed it. Excellent job, Riley. I appreciate you, man. I love that righteous anger. That righteous indignation for the BS. I love it, man. I love it. Nothing wrong with it. 518. You're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name?
Hi, Tim Black.
Hey, how you doing? Who's this?
Hi, Tim. It's Amy.
Amy.
It's Amy calling from New York.
Amy from New York.
I was on the last time Riley was on, and I think I was, and he was talking about freaking antitrust and mergers again, and that wasn't on my list of things. So I guess I'll go to my list of things. And people brought up Russia, and that wasn't on my list of things, but now it is. But you asked for good news, and I thought there was some good news today, this week, but also it's bad news. So one of my senators in New York is Kirsten Gillibrand, and she came out for single payer. Now, a lot of progressives really don't like Kirsten, but I have to tell you, in New York, the campaigns that she has run in the past were not as progressive as her voting record. And I'm a huge person at looking at how have you voted. It's not necessarily always what did you say or who did you back. And yeah, I think she probably, and it was reported in the media, but I don't listen to a lot of the media, but she probably said some terrible things about Bernie, and yeah, she supported Hillary. But it's, I think sometimes it's like, maybe she was a new senator, she was a junior senator, so maybe she didn't have a spine, or maybe she was like Obama, who also probably didn't have a spine, and was influenced by the establishment that had been set up. Like, hey, if you want to succeed in this world, this is what you do. And so, but her voting record this year has been really very good, and I hate that people are comparing her to Hillary, because I don't know of any time that she, wanted to bomb something. And I hate that people compare her to Cory Booker, because when Bernie proposed that amendment to the Senate about getting pharma drugs from Canada, she voted that, yeah, I want the drugs. She didn't come out like Cory Booker and say things like, yeah, we needed more FDA regulations on that. I mean, which is a total joke, because they don't even regulate our drugs here or our food or anything. Like, they don't do that. So, when he talks, that's what he sounds like. When Hillary talks, that's what she sounds like. But Kirsten, I feel like I'm going to give her a chance. I'm going to give her a chance. If she backsteps in any such a way, and I've heard people say, oh, she's going to come out, when Bernie proposes Medicare for all or single payer or whatever, she's going to come out and be like, oh, well, you didn't include this. I don't think she can do that now. I think she's out there saying she's going to support this. And I know Hillary did that over a 20-year period or whatever. She's like, I support single payer, and then she backtracked. I really do think Kirsten is smart enough to see where things are headed. The second that she takes a step back from this, I will permanently, disregard her. But as far as her and Chuck Schumer or Cory Booker and Hillary Clinton, I put her in another category. So I actually am thinking of just writing a note to her to say, thank you for coming out on this. Please don't ever step back from this, because you will lose my support, and so on and so forth. But I find that we live in a society today where we very easily dismiss people on things they said, or like one thing that we did that they didn't like. And, and I think at that point, there is sort of a liberal progressive purity test. But we all do things wrong. We all take bad positions. We all evolve. But if you have a record of integrity the way, say, Bernie does, or that Kirsten, I think most of her record is pretty good, particularly this year. I'd have to look back. But, I think that means something. So when push came to shove, she went in the right way. Have I run up on time? That was my good news.
You're right at your 5. I'll let you go another minute, though.
Really? Okay. My other thing, all right, I'll save Russia, I guess, for another time. But I thought of the last time that we spoke, it was, we talked about inherent racism in the justice system, which I think is something that you really care about. And we talked about the way that juries, that happens on juries. Well, you did a segment recently on mandatory minimums, which I didn't get to see the whole thing about. But I was actually curious. A huge problem with that I think is built in, but I don't know, because I'm just, a white girl from, New York. So I don't know anything about like a bad area or anything. But a lot of times when crimes are, I think, committed, and then the police wants information, they'll arrest you for anything. And it's always in minority areas where that happens, because there's more crime, because there's more poverty, economic hardship, drugs, things of that nature. And so you can end up building a record for things that other people have done. And so I do think mandatory minimums are very dangerous and inherently racist is my perception of things. So, okay, so those are two things.
Well, look, Amy, I appreciate you calling in and giving your voice, speaking truth to power. I appreciate it. Good job. What can I tell you? You know, it's the drug war, right? That drug war, this failed drug war, these horrific drug laws, they are shit, Amy. They really are. The majority of people in jail are in jail for drugs, and the majority of those people are for using drugs, and the people that are there for dealing are not for actually being caught with drugs. They're on what's called conspiracy charges, like they were going to have drugs, or they plan to have drugs, because someone said they were going to, and that's it. So yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. 770, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Tim Black.
Who that?
What's up, man? This is Super Dave from Stone Mountain.
My brother. There you go, man. The veterans are coming out tonight.
On, big dog?
The veterans came out tonight. What's up, Dave?
Well, I just had a comment tonight about a couple of things. Before I go on, I really want to applaud you for taking Curtis's call. I'm not going to go into it, but people who have been watching you for a long time know why that it says so much about who you are and what you really believe in. If you ever doubted that Tim Black does not believe in free speech and is trying to hear everybody's side of the story, that one call right there proves it.
Thank you, Dave.
I wanted to, yeah, man. And I just wanted to read the first paragraph of these two stories just to make a point. A GOP donor and opposition researcher who said he tried to work with Russian hackers to retrieve deleted emails from the private server used by Hillary Clinton has died in a suicide. According to public records at the Chicago Tribune, Peter Smith killed himself days after an interview with the Wall Street Journal in which he sought out Russian hackers to try and retrieve some 30,000 deleted emails from Clinton. And so now he's dead. And then, that's just one, hold on. Here we have the other one, Klaus Eberwein. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. A former Haitian government official was found dead Tuesday in a South Dade motel room in what the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office is ruling a suicide. He shot himself in the head, said Veronica Lamar, the medical examiner. And so I'm just going to stop right there. But here you have two people, one connected to Clinton and her Haitian crap, who just decided to off themselves, which it wouldn't be that big deal if there wouldn't have been a dozen people connected to Clinton who have offed themselves or died mysteriously. And then you have another person right here involved with Trump. You know, I mean, he was seeking out Clinton's emails, but right now he just came out and said he was involved in, you know, I have my own reservations, Tim, about going to a foreign government to get information. I think there's a difference between seeking out the truth in a foreign government and actually planning to commit election fraud are two different things. But the reason I brought both of these up because they're tied to two people, Clinton and Trump. They're both the same. They both have the same shit popping up about them everywhere. It's always the same. There's this scam. I mean, you don't hear this stuff with normal people. These are not normal people. And
right.
I mean, you just it leads me to believe that you keep hearing the same kind of stories about these people, and this just isn't a story. These are dead people involved that are associated with these two individuals. They're gone. They're dead. And it just makes me think that it's like the media. They're both exactly the same. There's no difference between Trump and Clinton. I mean, a lot of people, Trump is so unambiguous on the outside. He just lets it all out there. But Clinton has laughed about killing Gaddafi. Like you should celebrate killing somebody. Gaddafi never did anything to me. There's no reason for me to celebrate his death. And that's what she did. And it's not the only time she's done it. She got that child rape guy Remember when she was younger, an attorney or something?
Right.
And she got a guy she knew was guilty of who raped some 12-year-old girl or something. And then she laughed about it afterwards, like it was something to be proud of. So it just leads me under the impression that there really is no difference between the two sides. And it really makes everyone underneath them look bad. And the media takes the worst person they can find. You know, they take the worst, like CNN will take the worst Republican they can possibly find, and they will plaster them all over and say, see, all Republicans are like this. And Fox News does the same thing. They'll take the most extreme liberal they can possibly find, and they'll give Republicans the impression that every liberal is like that. And it really just, it makes us enemies. And this is the reason I called, is because all these people are exactly the same. They're billionaires. They have more money than any of us could ever imagine happening. And so their mindset is so twisted compared to the way the rest of us can be. And the purpose why I bring this up is because it's really clear that the American government is the enemy of the American people, just about. And when the American government becomes your enemy, every single American citizen becomes your ally. And I just wanted to call because I wanted to try and get people to, you know, we always say liberals are smarter than Republicans, but I think we should start acting like it. You know, I think we should start reaching out to them. I think we should start talking to them. I think we should start leading by example. You know, like calling yourself a liberal. You know, we get labeled with that. And we keep being proud that we're liberal, and then when we go try to talk to a Republican and say, I'm a liberal, well, they just automatically judge you based on that name. So, you know, you got to be intelligent about how you talk to people. You know, if you stop saying, well, I don't like liberals either, I think they're fucking idiots, then you know, it disarms them and actually makes them listen to you. You know, I don't have many conservative friends, Tim, but I have a few, and every once in a while I'll be talking to one, and like the other night, I believe I was talking to somebody, and they were talking about we need to bring back conservative values. We need to bring about conservative law. And I said, well, there's nothing conservative about watching sick American citizens die. And so then somebody pops up and says, well, I agree. And this is a conservative. This is a Jesus-loving, hardcore conservative who voted for Trump, and he still agrees with me. And I think that we really do ourselves a disservice by treating the other side like the enemy, no matter how retarded they might be. And believe me, I'm the worst at this. I cuss people out and I get upset and I want to hang up and tell them to F off just like the rest of us. But I really just, I think they're our allies. And that was the reason I called, was because I wanted to get people to really try and reach out to these people because they are our allies. I mean, when the American government is your enemy, who is your ally except your other American citizens? So this left-right stuff is just so devastatingly counterproductive. And what you did with Curtis tonight really proves my point, is that it could have been easy for you to just write him off and say, you know what, this guy doesn't deserve a voice, he's an idiot. But you bit your tongue and you actually got a decent call out of him tonight, and that shows that actually keeping that line of communication open with people, continuing to communicate with people is really the way to go. And so I hope everybody can try and do that the best they can. And before I go, I just want to say I want everybody to donate to Tim. I want you to become a Patreon. I think the $1 per follow idea was one of the best ones. I know you have 100,000 followers. If we could just get everybody to give you $1, I challenge everybody. I dare you, just go find $1. Go find a homeless guy and borrow $1 from him and give to Tim. What he could do with $100,000 a month would make him more powerful than any of you could imagine. Not just because Tim is awesome, but not because we would bring him in the limelight, but because he would bring us with him. So I hope everybody hears what I say and tries to remain calm in the face of those that oppose you. And that's it, Tim.
Hey, man, Dave, thank you as always, brother. I appreciate you. You know that. Dave's my guy, and he's been calling up for a long time. He's been here having my back. And yeah, don't take $1 from a homeless person. Let's get a homeless person $1. But yeah, go over to that person, borrow $1. They can borrow $1 from someone. Very, very real point, man. And you know what about Curtis? Yeah, man, I just took a chance that he was going to respect the platform. That's all. Just respect the platform. And he did, and we got a good conversation. And people I know in the chat room had to be rolling like, what the hell? I know Iron Man Oz and the Broken Carpenter was like, it's Curtis, but it went good. So, hey, man, thank you for the recognition, Dave. Let me get a couple more people on before the phone lines cut out. I have a 408 number. I don't know if this is the same 408 from earlier. Let's find out. Hey, 408, you're live.
Oh, no. Hey, Tim. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. My name's Rachel. I'm from Memphis.
Hey, Rachel. What's on your mind?
Oh, goodness. Well, I ended my week calling my representative. They just voted on the NDAA today. $695 billion for the military, but we have no money for health care, no money for education. Our homeless population's out of control. Now they're being criminalized, and I bug my representatives every week. They hate when I call. I talk to their aides, but I used to tell myself, like, why even bother? They're not going to listen to me. But then I said, you know what? I'm still going to call because they hate phone calls. And, I just lost it. I just said, how can you possibly, $700 billion, and our country is just, our society, we're hurting so bad, and there's so much just polarization. But I wanted to I've been following kind of this, really the prison, school to prison to pipeline that's going on, and especially the military creeping in, or really they're in our public schools and they target, minorities. They target low income population. They target kids with single parents.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Oh. All right, guys. That's it. Unfortunately, it's like our phone line is gone for the night, which sucks. I hate when that happens. Damn. Yeah. Had a couple more people in the queue, too, as well as Rachel, who was giving her opinion about the prison industrial complex in the prison, the school to prison pipeline, which is a real thing. It is easy to marginalize these young people because they are poor. They're going to go to prison anyway. They're going to, just get them into prison. Just push them and get suspensions at higher rates than other students for the same infractions. It's just horrible, man. It's a very horrible system we have built up. Look, guys, thank you all for all the phone calls tonight. Thank you for all your participation. Thank you for being a part of the show. Look, the phone number is always the same until they change it. It's been changed once over the last 4 years. I encourage people to call up, be involved. Put your voice out there. Also, email me at tim@timblacktv.com. Become a part of it. Your voice is needed. Your perspective is needed. Everyone has a different perspective. I'm going to be reaching out to different groups of people. I'm also going to be doing something different on the channel. You're going to notice a lot different content coming out of this channel. CNN never cuts off. Why should my channel cut off? MSNBC is 24/7. Why should it not be 24/7? So we're going to be putting out a lot of content around here. And it's not all going to be politics. Some of it's going to be social issues. I'm going to start diversifying my content. But what I'll do is I'm going to start branding my content. So you'll know when you look at the video, you'll know if it's politics. You'll know if it's some other type of content. sort of like the Twitter thing we did. I like the Twitter thing. I'm a part of the Twitter community. So, yeah, I think I'm going to focus on that a little bit more, do some more segments for that, and some other creative stuff we're going to come up with. But I think, well, I know going forward, we're going to work together a lot more, all right? And we're going to do everything we can to push the conversation in the direction we need it to go, which is forward. And that's on a lot of issues. So if you got some things, if you have suggestions, if you have ideas, send them to tim@timblacktv.com. Also, consider becoming a member of my Wolf Pack. Shout out to Elizabeth Beck. Elizabeth sent out a tweet today that she ordered a Tim Black shirt. It was a really cool one. And it's one that I like, you know, maybe because it's got my goofy head on it. It's the Tim Black Show shirt. And thank you so much, Elizabeth, for tweeting that out. Such a big time friend of mine. And definitely, we have your support, and we support the DNC fraud lawsuit. We support your efforts. Please be safe, you, Jared, and Nico, and your other co-counsel as well. All you guys, wish you the best, and we believe in what you're doing. Thank you for fighting that good fight. Look, guys, hey, it's the weekend, so be safe out there, and just know that you're not the only person who thinks like you do about what you see. It does seem strange sometimes, doesn't it? It's like, do these other people see this foolery, damn foolery, you know, going on? Is it just me? No, other people see it. It's a lot of other people who see it. Now, it's not as many people who see it who don't see it, but there's still a lot of people who see it. And it's just that we got to connect. We got to link up. We got to link up, you know? Got to get linked in and link up and fight back. So that's what's up. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. We got the Russia thing going on. Listen. While it's like someone's doing a trick where they're, you know, like the magicians. A good magician is good at sleight of hand. So while they're distracting you with one thing, they're doing another thing. And while they have your focus on one issue or one activity, there's something else going on that you're not even paying attention to. And that's what being a magician is. It's the movements, it's the hand movements, it's the special effects, it's these other things they come up with. And the problem is,
you gonna eat your cornbread.
When we talk about politics, we're talking about people who are not doing it for your entertainment value. They're not doing it just to get $1 out of you in front of some strip mall. They're doing it to take your cornbread. That's what they're trying to do. They want to take your cornbread. And it's more devious issues to pass legislation to funnel us closer to the brink of war with Russia. And I'm not saying they really want to go to war with Russia. They just wanted to look like it so they can spend money. They want to scare the hell out of you so you can be able to pass this legislation without any pushback from the populace. Because guess what? Even in a country as corrupt as the United States, bad publicity matters. Still matters. Strange, right? You can control a lot of stuff, but the people ever to wake up, if the people are to ever wake up, these people will be in trouble. So know this.
Nobody take no cornbread from me.
That's why I do this show. I do this show to make people wake up and keep their cornbread. Frankly, hey, I stumbled upon doing this type of stuff. I was well on my way to doing stuff that was a much more lighter content. But here's the thing. Once you become awoke, or once you are awakened, it's you can't go back to sleep. And if you do, it's I don't know what's the word for it. You have to force yourself back to sleep. And that's not a good sleep anyway. So you never really go back to sleep because you now know, you have now become aware. Was something I've said when I said in Philly, once you know, you can't unknow what you now know. That's it. You can't unknow what you now know. So you never forget it. So you can want to forget it, but you can't. So that's the reason why we got to fight back. Right? And see, you got to say no one's taking your cornbread because you have to decide that you're not going to be a part of the problem. You're going to be a part of the solution. And here's the thing.
Maybe I ought to eat your cornbread.
Because if you go back to sleep like all the others because it's easier, Because Lord knows it's easier just to watch, I don't know, reruns of Dexter like my friend brought up. It's easier to just, you know, say, what's McGregor going to do to Mayweather? What's he going to do? And that's fine for a moment if that's what you want to do. Hey, I might watch that for a moment. Not if it's $100 though. But because I got a Tiger Stream over here. Yo, I did a video on Tiger Stream, by the way. But yeah, you know, if you focus on the Mayweather fight too long, right, and you get caught up in stuff too long, well, then the whole thing's going past you by. And meanwhile, we got children starving, we got folks dying in the streets, we got folks living in the streets, we got people becoming part of the streets. All this is going on in the richest country that's ever existed in the history of man. And they want you to believe it's because these people are bad and they want to fail. They're just lazy, which is the same thing they've been using for the last 400 years. And for the last 400 years, certain people have been buying it. And when we say, hey, you're screwed up in the head for thinking these negative thoughts about these people, they say, well, it's not me. It's not me. I don't think negative thoughts about people. And so we have to fight back against the powers that be and understand what propaganda is, how it's used, and how it infects us. Because if we don't do that, if we don't fight back, if we don't realize that we're all susceptible to the bullshit, that we're all infected to some degree or other, because we live in this society that is perpetrating this garbage. You breathe air, don't you? Yes. Well, it's in the air. It's in the media. It's in the books. It's in the movies. It's in the music. It's in everything. The propaganda is everywhere. So it's not just Russia. It's all this BS they try to focus us on. It's the fact they got us focused on how much, I don't know, what's the guy that got the big paycheck? You know, Harden. You know, they want us to focus on how much money Harden got, but not focus on how much money it would take to fix Flint, or fix Chicago, or fix West Virginia, or fix, you know, or bring back jobs to Detroit, or I don't know, whatever. There's so many issues. There's so many issues we could be focused on that they don't allow us to focus on, that they don't want us to focus on, that they don't want to shine focus on. And that's sort of their job. That is their job. They'll tell you that RT America is Russian state and Sputnik is run by the Russian state. Who the hell you think runs CNN? It's the same thing. They just don't tell you. Who the hell runs MSNBC? Now, if Tim Black was running MSNBC or running a similar entity, you best believe we'd be talking about real-ish. Wouldn't be sitting around talking about, you know, we'd be talking about the real issues. Real issues. We'd be shining a spotlight on those things. And we would do it as long as we could do it until they came and got me. And some people talk a big deal and they shoot and they do these things. They say a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, they ain't willing to die for anything. Not willing to die for nothing. So anyway, we're not willing to die for it. We ain't willing to go to the mat for it. If we ain't willing to go from making 6 figures to making 2 figures, if we ain't willing to do any of that, well,
It's going to be consequences and repercussions.
it's going to be consequences and repercussions. And just because you can, I understand if you can't, help those that do. Help those that are in it. And that's what it's all about. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Everybody strap up. Be safe. Hug somebody. Love your kids. It's a crazy, crazy world. The top of the show tonight, I read some crazy stories, man, that I really wish I wouldn't have had to share with you. But we know what we're dealing with. We cannot pretend this isn't going on. All right, so everybody be safe. Don't buy weed in those strange places from people you don't know. And watch who your kids are around and call your kids up. If you ain't with the other parent, call the kid up. See how your child is doing. Check in on them. Woo! What a night, what a night. I want to give a last shout out to all the people in the chat room. You guys are fantastic. All the people who are part of Tim Black's Wolf Pack. We're going to rebuild. We're going to be stronger and longer, and we're going to keep going. I thank you so much. All my friends on Periscope out there, thank you, Periscope. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Please share this video. My people on Facebook, same thing. I appreciate you more than you know. We're almost at 70,000 on Facebook, and we got above 70,000, but then I don't know. I put out a video that's critical of Trump, and we go back to 69, and I guess we'll just go from 70 to 69. And I guess that's not the worst thing in the world. But thank you so much, Facebook, for being there. Please share this video. Same thing for my people on YouTube. Please watch other videos on YouTube. I put out a lot of great content. Thanks to my friend Momo Pineno. Also to my moderators, The Broken Carpenter, Momo Pineno, and Iron Man Oz, who always inspires me to do better, be better, live better. I love you guys. Until we meet again this weekend, there will be more content coming. You know it. Check back. Holler at me at timblacktv.com. That is a website. It is mine. Go there, and I'll see you on the next one. Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
So say good night to the black guy. Hold on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Hold on.